This is going to be hyper tactical. By the end of this, I want you to be able to build something that looks like this, understand how you can identify LLM, chat, AI traffic, and I want you to be able to take this and modify using case statements and lookups and filters in Looker Studio to build something else, right? So to take it and use your building blocks to build something else. My name is JJ Reynolds. I'm the founder of Vision Labs. We build out custom reporting solutions and manage your data strategy for companies ranging from $10 million a year to hundreds of millions of dollars a year. Those are my qualifications. Now let's hop into it. So right here we are on our test data. This is the data from visionlabs.com. If you want to check it out, there we go. What I've done is we have three different fields here. We have the page refer from GA4, we have the page path plus query string, and we have the session source medium. These are the three main ways you can identify where traffic came from. There's a refer, there's the URL queries, parameters, and then there are the source and medium UTMs that come in. If you don't know what those are, go watch another video about UTMs. We'll come back here. What I've done here is something that people don't realize you can do very often is create a custom field right here in the search filter. What this does is it looks up three fields that are concatenated together. So what I've done is use the concat function, which smashes things together. So we have the page refer, the landing page plus query string, and the session source medium. So if any one of these fields contains whatever I'm searching for, because I'm changing the contains, then it will show the outcome. I'm using this to just create the validity of is what I'm even looking for there. Because as more AI models pop up, you're gonna have to adjust this over time. So that's why I'm gonna show you exactly how to do this. So here we have this. Then I'm gonna create one more table down here. And this table is gonna be where we build out our custom dimension here. And I'm just gonna use sessions. I like sessions more than views or hits or users within GA4 just because it is more straightforward and to the point. Okay, so how do you know if you even have any traffic at all? This new field that you just created, we can type in like GPT, for example. So anything that contains the word GPT, so the page refer, chat GPT, there we go. We then have let's see, this right here, this profit first dashboard came in. Lab here also is from ChatGPT, and it's from these session sources, right? So just keep in mind, you're like, hey, this one doesn't have the word GPT in it. That's okay. The reason why is either one of these other fields does. So either the refer is referring the page or the session is referring that page. So just keep that in mind. For example, if we click on active campaign here, that would then be another filter. Just to recap, create a field here that smashes all of your sources together of how you know where traffic came from. This could be in GA4, this could be in PostHog, this could be in whatever your tool is of choice. That's what you're going to do. Then what we're going to do is type in different ways that we're going to look for this. So if the page refer is ChatGPT, we're good. Or the session source here is ChatGPT, right? So let me look through this one more time. So we could type in Claude, right? So Claude AI is a refer. It's also a source. You can see how there's more sources than there are refers, which is kind of cool, right? They're adding in things there. So how do we do this? What do we do with this information? That's where we start to build out things down here. I'm going to add in a new dimension. We're going to create a calculated field. And what I'm going to do here just to make it simple is I'm going to add, or not simple, easier for you to watch along, is I'm going to add that field down here. I know what I'm doing, so I can do this more easily. I'd recommend that you start in the properties panel and then move it here afterwards. So what we're going to do is we're going to create something that's called a case statement inside of Looker Studio. How case statements work, this is more of like an SQL statement they've modified for Looker Studio. Case, when, then, else, end. You're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. This is how this works. So you have a case statement, which is basically case, stating that, hey, between the case and the end is where your thing is. When, and you could say anything here. When source equals test, then test traffic, else not test, right? And then now you have a functioning report, right? So here it would work. We now have this thing. Quick interruption here. If you want to have your own AI traffic identifier template, go try out ours. Here you go, visionlabs.com/resources/LLM. You can see here all of the traffic. We built this out for you. Go ahead, try it out, put your name and email and select what you are. Download it, try it out, see if your brand is trending in the right direction with AI traffic, as that is what is happening right now. And if you have any questions at all, hit reply to those emails. I respond to every single one of them. So how do we do this, right? We just did a search for Claude and for ChatGPT. I'm going to start with the session source and just say, hey, if session source contains Claude, then we're good to go. How do you do that? Let's talk here. So when session source, right? So you're like, when this, I'm gonna write this out in words. So contains Claude, then we're gonna call this Claude. All right. So how do we do this with actual text? We can actually use a function inside of our case statement. So when this contains text is the function, and we're going to look at that and wrap that around here. So it tells you right here exactly what happens. So here's the source, and then we're going to hit comma, and then we're going to type in cloud. All right. Then Claude. All right. There we go. So we have our first one down. I did not put a closing parentheses. That's our problem. Let's clean that up. There we go. So that is our first identifier of Claude. If the source contains Claude, then it's Claude, right? And this is really important, is that you can add in more lines. So here we have, for example, we can have case when this, then that. And let me hit enter a couple times down here. There we go. Okay. So more lines here. So when, and we can add this in here, and we can say this, when this contains chat, I'm just going to put in GPT for the sake of simplicity. Then this is chat GPT. And you can keep going down this list of sources. The other beautiful part of a case statement, right, is that you can use other pieces. So when this contains this, then Claude. You have two options. You can either say when it says this, or, and then you could put in our other statement, when contains text refer, contains GPT, then chat GPT, right? So we use an or statement. So or either one of these could be true, and then we can have, now we have Claude, right? So here we go. The other option is, so this will look at either or of those, is that we can add in where it's sequential. So for example, this will say find all of the times where line 2 is true, then it goes to line 3. So how do you solve that problem is you look at all the sources first, right? So we say, hey, here are all the sources. We have Claude, we have ChatGPT, we've got Gemini, we've got et cetera, et cetera. Then we can go in and add in other lines. So the other way to do this would be, I'll just do this for ChatGPT, is we copy and paste this here, and we change this to then be page refer. And so now we have this, will find all the times that ChatGPT is this, then it will look for that. Else, and then we'll call this not AI traffic. And I'm going to call this AI, and let's just see where we got, right? So the one problem I don't like about doing it this way, so you guys can easily see it, is that it's hard to test. So let's just put this in. All right. So here in our dimension, and then what we're going to do is get rid of our search field. And so what we've identified here is that we so far have 78 sessions from ChatGPT. We've got 8 sessions from Claude. Now, the hard part is we can have to come in here and say, does Gemini exist? And you can see that here, this is where, right, session source contains Gemini. We've got 12 views here. I'm going to change these to sessions so that you can easily see this from a session standpoint. And you can see here that the source contains more. So let me just come in here, and we're going to modify our AI traffic source. Now we can add in Gemini. So I'm going to go back to this to change it just because, for example, I'm going to put this as the or, page refer, ChatGPT, then bam, there we go. And then for ease and simplicity, we can then say, hey, let's go here, copy that, paste it down here. And now we can add in Gemini and then Gemini. And just to confirm, right, it's if either one of these are true, then it will return Gemini. And I'm gonna do this one more time for another one. I think DeepSeek, I'm not sure if I spelled that right, but let's go for it. And update and done. Okay. So here we go. So now we have DeepSeek with 4 sessions, Claude with 8 sessions, Gemini with 11 sessions, ChatGPT with 78 sessions. And all you've got to do here, folks, is go look up a list of all of the different AI models. You can add in as many as your heart desires. It does not really matter. Like, you can just type in as many as you'd like to. And I like the search function because you can always validate it, right? You can say, hey, sometimes people just add query parameters, right? So let me just see here. So here we've got all people logging into the lab, their education team. We've got a lot of people going to our sales page, people contacting us, scheduling a call, Facebook ads. Okay, so I can't seem to find one, but you'll get the idea here. So DeepSeek, Claude, Gemini. Let's just look for one other one of, I can't think of any others right now. Let's just Google it really quickly. All right, we got Grok, Perplexity. Let's just type those in real quick. Gemini, Grok, all right, there we go. We've got the majority of them there, and then we have normal traffic there. So what we've done here is we've looked at both the refer, which they happen to have, and then also that. Sometimes I've seen a lot in the path in the query strings, but I don't know why that's not showing up here. Maybe just our traffic is too small. We have a lot of clients that do have a lot of traffic, but here you can see Perplexity, Claude, Gemini, ChatGPT, etc. all here. And now what we can do is we can add filters, right? To say, hey, ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, Perplexity, DeepSeek, these ones are the ones that are included and not AI traffic is the others. So how do you trend this over time? That's another question that people often ask is we can take this, we can add a chart. Maybe it's a line chart here. I had the wrong line chart. Let's go back here to a single line chart. And here we can take this and we can break this down by our AI traffic source, which I spelled wrong, but it's all right. And then we can just get rid of, add a filter here. You can either add a filter or, like, just because I was going to show you here, is we can actually just get rid of the else. So you actually don't need an else in a case statement. It will just find all of these different ones and only return those. Just keep in mind that you're not going to have all your traffic here, right? The else is nice because then you can simply have the else. And we have to exclude nulls. So then we can add the filter and create a filter and exclude where AI traffic source, right, is null. Really easy. Make sure you follow the instructions that we teach as far as the naming conventions. Hit save. And Bob's your uncle. There we go. Obviously, we don't have a lot of traffic here, but let's just add in a control. I'm going to change this to this year to date. Hit apply. And then if you want to make it look really fancy here, what we can do is group this instead of by date, we will group it by month. So there we go. So here is the trend of traffic over time year to date. ChatGPT and Perplexity are fighting. So we were pretty high on Perplexity in January. Then in February, ChatGPT is going up, Perplexity is going down. This is our traffic sources, right, from visionlabs.com. So you can do with it what you'd like. And then you can take this and you can use this exact same idea and build everything else out. Let me show you how to do that. I'm going to copy this. Just let's go really fast, and everyone always wants to know, hey, how do you build your dashboards? How do you do this, right? So let's go and see right here. So if we take this exact same one, and we just change the chart type up here into a scorecard, it keeps the exact sessions. And we can call this AI sessions. Right, and so now we have a trend line of what happened over that. And I think, I'm not exactly sure if we have any, but let's see. AI key events. So here we have AI sessions. We've got AI key events. So we've got 19 leads from our from AI traffic there. And lastly, we can add in here AI users, right? Actually, let's see if we have any purchases. There we go. So we've had 13 new lab members, 19 leads, and 281 AI sessions, right? So then the next question is the traffic trend here. So we'll put that right there. And then we can come down here and we could actually put in these. This is where, again, it gets really fun, is you can add in those filters. So let's add in that same filter that we just created, the exclude where null. We add in that, get rid of this one. And we'll do one more here. All right, so what we've just done here, and let me make this a little bit cuter. Again, this is not a design course on how to do these different ones. And we could just say, you can style this differently, but you get the idea. I'm gonna change this to top AI traffic sources. We can then move this to the top. I'm gonna put this on the far right just because there's, okay, there we go. Move that over. If you hold shift, you can click on all of them at once. And then we can drag them all to be smaller. Top AI traffic sources will go right there. and we could get rid of all of the other pieces. I won't do that for the sake of this video, but you get the idea, right? So now we have a general trend of where all this is coming from. This will work for anything, not just GA4. You then have the top refers, right? So here is all the traffic coming from. We then have the top page path. We have the top sessions. And then what's even more fun is we could take this exact same thing here, go up here, and we could type in landing page. And now we could have sessions, key events, and purchases. And now, right, we know exactly what this is. One of the reasons I'm not a big fan of the GA4 API is because we get a lot more not set and we can't really fix that. You can do different modifications inside of BigQuery, but this is not that video. So here, repeat purchase rate, about how a repeat purchase rate is our top landing page from AI. We get 25 sessions, 5 leads, 5 purchases. You can see here all the different our GA360 calculator for people that are looking for 360. All these are our top landing pages for AI. And that allows us to go and build more content for those people. Again, this is really straightforward. Once you understand how this works, you can build your own out, and that is how you can do this. So, hope that was fun. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments down below. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video.